angithi abantu bathi mawubeje une stigma.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always challenge that. I always say ayekho umuntu ongana stigma. You reach a certain age awuna carry stigma. You reach a certain age awushatangi stigma. Mawushuza, what are you saying mawushuza criminal record? Because look at Gates in Mekenzo group namhlanje une criminal record. Look at Kenny group namhlanje une criminal record. Look at Scheme GP Temba Lukelu group namhlanje une criminal record. I can count and count and count. So I don't think mele suke. Mayihlalera. Nami nginayo. Mara ngibonisa passport yami. I've been to Dubai so many times.
Welcome to the Daily Show. Of course, I hope on Christmas. You already know, doing this best show, it makes any other show look so stupid and work online. That in love it. Nasinabami nasinomadotsela umtimandi impela ngopambodwe. Abambili zeza nini KUNENE nabamdamu. As usual on camera today things are a little bit different. James is not around. If you see any fault, just know James is not around. But okay, always have a crew and brothers. On my right I have Kanda, and on my left I have Zakes. Yeah, shout out to them, man. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe and press the notification bell. You'll be the first to get this episode. Today I'm with the king. You see, he's on his t-shirt, on his shirt and the tie, clean like a primary teacher. Clean, bro, clean. Even if you see his shoes, he's clean. Yeah. I love that. So yeah, abanye bathijele bezama ukusdestroy, but thina sithijele will never let us down. Brasol, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for having me.
Unjani fit?
Ngicela wena.
Ngumnandi. Ngiyazi ukuthi sokukhuluma ngezinto ezibhaya indaba zasejele nani, but what I'm interested in today is the change. It became this man today, but of course we're not going to run away to the young soul. Maybe we can touch to young soul. If I can say pass the message to the old soul, the young soul must pass the message to old soul. Engathini young soul.
So you're saying ukuthi usoul omdala anikeze i-message to the young soul?
No, usoul omncane anikeze i-message ku old soul, then ngifuna no old soul anikeze i-message ku young soul.
Hey, but I think le ukuthi u young soul anikeze i-message to the old soul. It's a tough one. But I think I can try this one ukuthi usoul omdala anikeze i-message ku soul omncane. And I'll tell you why. You know why ngisho kanje?
Yeah.
Because usoul omncane azange abe stable, akakhulisanga abazali abayi-2. Because under normal circumstances umntwana kumele akhulise abazali abayi-2, umama nobaba. But usoul omncane ukhulise ugogo, you know, and isikhathini esiningi beyangaphili nomama wakhe, babakhe beyangamazi. And usoul omncane into ebuhlungu ukuthi bekahamba hlala in different places. You know, I always tell people that I've never been in one school for 2 years. Change igone. So mama bekangithatha ngilahlela kule family, from this family angive kule family yana. So every year nje experiencing new family. And izange izinto eziningi because kumele adapt. Obviously nama emotions wakho kumele wachannele ngenye indlela, because ma adapt umuntu aw adapt kuphela physical, nama emotions mele abe involved there. So that's a young soul. But to give that kind of a child the advice, ukuthi nje just hold on.
So there's nothing you can learn from young soul.
There's nothing I can learn.
There's nothing as a person, like the person who's outside right now, or the person who's watching. If you can explain the young soul, there's nothing we can learn to young soul actually.
I think the lesson should be to parents. And the lesson should be abantu abadala. Because parenting out here is not only about biological parents, it's also about abantu abadala. Let me give you an example. So let's say kunomntwana wentombazana. Mncane umntwana sasemncane, and then Tina around. There is no biological parent yalo mntwana. Mara singabantu abadala sikhona around. So lo mntwana omncane lo wentombazana makabuya esikoleni or kuphatha uphethwe headache. Then sifake effort simthengele grandpa ukuthi headache yakhe bengcono, makathi ufuna ini some support. We are actually designer umhlaba. We are actually teaching you ukuthi this is how you should perceive abantu abadala, more especially abantu besilisa. But once saqala some bamba, some abuser, some shaya, some subjected to all this sort of abuse, some damage lo mntwana. So the situation is solo mncane. Hence I'm giving this example. With abantu abadala, they should learn ukuthi umntwana umntwana. And that's why I'm against this thing yokuthi stepson, stepdaughter. Umntwana, any child around you umntwana akho mfethu. Remove lento zabo step and step what because I think into enza ukuthi abantwana abancane around abantu abadala bagcina baba abused because nami mangibhek situation nami sometimes I'm like if bengiyintombazana ngiyakutshela ngendlela bengimuva indawo ngakhona probably ngabe nginga experience abuse but because of at that time obviously I abuse for abafana bengekho that rife yabo ngi experience the abuse there and there because uhlala le family lena and this family lena ba treat abantwana babo differently wena meluzi washele magdliwa yabona and noma ngasuthanga you can't even say ukuthi ngicela extra nyana because umntwana so I situation ekasolo mncana ukuthi abantu abadala they can just learn ukuthi umntwana around yina ningabantu abadala it's your responsibility to make sure ukuthi umntwana uba right.
So I think i-background hiyo mhlambe eyagcina ikulidele ejele noma nawe unakho vele lokho ukuthi ukuganga kuwena but usaba mhlambe ukwenza izinto or mhlambe okay we're going back to background thing ukuthi do you think i-background yakwenza ugcine usejele?
Yeah, but also makhuluma nge-background i-background nama-dimension amaningi. There's a dimension yokukhula obviously ukukhulela ku-environment where if-family is dysfunctional. There's an element futhi yokukhula around igebengu around lifestyle esekasi i-lifestyle esekasi uma uyibona ubana le perception yokuthi i-crime yiyo elevator amajita that you look up to. There's an element yokuthi I mean mini uncle am criminal by the way and this is a guy that I could relate with at the peer level so he was more like a friend and a father figure game. And then well, there's also a dimension yokuthi mina mangisakhula there was a lot of political violence as well. So Tina we're given responsibility to protect the community against inkati because there was a violence being over cooling inkati and ANC. So I'm a dimension maning. I can't pinpoint one thing. I think in billions zabantu what goes wrong kuba nama dimension amaning or ama factors amaning a contributor to whatever and those of we experience in life in. I don't think it could be yes, more upbringing it involves into his name, but I think one of my elements in a pagat. Obviously ukulela fa. I mean more kulela ekasi and like us lang kulela corner amachita pa drive car as a grant appeal impiling banangati grant because of intwana we giving. Obviously I look up to them. And then abantu sitama professionals like engineers 4 from Ekaya kuno teacher laphana but lo teacher lona uyabona ukuthi hayi life yakhe ayihlangane kahle but iuncle yami isigebengu or ubravos endlini estray isigebengu abantu banangara isigebengu uthengisa ama drugs wenzani and community am respect number 2 drive car is a grand uphila impilo esharp you are likely to say no as in I think this is the life and the very same person laba uthi you look up to them even if kwama criminals labantu labo they are the ones manokuvela batantwana yazini awungishayela ikari yami iwashe begrand akunikeza 20 rand ukube nakini akunomuntu wona wakunikeza 10 rand nini uyavela umuntu ukushangete igrand letike akunikeza lona athi intwana liteki boy yabona akasaligcoka leteke ulinikeza wena maligcoka look I respect impinjeni zakho yabona yabona so those things in fact they do play a role. I'm telling you that's why it's very important ukuthi we should pray and standards ukuthi in fact at least abantwana bethu bakhule around ama-role model asharp.
Ikhona into enye ongayifanisa ne-prison outside i-prison?
Yo ziningi I mean into engayifanisa ne-prison because remember for mina i-prison akusila amabonda kuphela kunabantu abasejele baloba ngaphandle yabona kunabantu abasejele ye-jealous kunabantu abasejele there's what we call tall poppy syndrome. Tall poppy syndrome it's a situation where when you are doing well in life when you're trying to progress life in, kunabantu abakriticizayo, kunabantu abathi unenyoka, kunabantu bakhuluma into ezibhayi. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So lento leyo nayo so uyasaba manje ukwenza ezinye izinto, so uyasaba manje to go all out because of abantu aba-appreciate the impact oyenzayo ne-success yakho abantu abayithathi grand. Yukufaka ejele karen uba limited kwenza ezinye izinto. Kunabantu abu ijele nje le-cheating, ukucheata nje.
Ne-relationship as
well. Yeah, like umuntu akakhoni kuba ne-partner one. And uyazazi ukuthi wena obviously mina ngithanda abafazi, so I can't date one person. So don't commit. Be honest with yourself. Don't commit. Yabo ijele le because you uphakathi kwejele le cheating. You can't commit. You can't ukujele lokulala nabantu aba different. So when in here ulala nabantu aba 15, 16.
But
do you know what I'm saying?
There's any problem to sleep with different people though?
I wouldn't talk much about that, but I'm just want to answer the issue ye jail. Ama-jailers are in different forms. So into engayifanisa ne-jail engaphandle. Sithola semajele amaningi mfethu. Ijele okungabelieve ukuthi you can make things happen. Ijele lokuthi because of kini there was akuna umuntu ewani kini ukwenza into yabonakala waphumelela, akuna umuntu one-matric kini, or akuna umuntu one-degree, or akuna umuntu and therefore you think ukuthi now you can't break that curse. Ijele na kunejele le-jealousy. Yabona kunabantu abane-jealousy out here.
True.
Kunabantu abane-jealousy and abana self-awareness ukuthi bakhona ukudila ngayo. Uyangithola? So baningi abantu basejele mfethu mentally nje kunabantu abasedanyani nje claro. Uyangithola? So ngayifanisa, so ijele for me akusi amabonda. Siningi into engazifanisa nejele manje.
That's a smart
mfethu kunabantu ababuye ejele ne.
Yeah.
Umuntu ubikoshizile ejele. Whether we parolee or we ex-offender or we probationer, it doesn't matter. Mara umuntu ubuye ejele. Abuye ejele angene kwelinye ijele. Just because of kunabantu abakhuluma nge-stigma. Angithi abantu bathi mawube ejele une-stigma.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always challenge that. I always say, I come to a stigma. You reach a certain age, I want to carry stigma. You reach a certain age, I shatang is stigma. You reach a certain age, you nemal maronam faz is stigma. You reach a certain age, no mtuana maron 7 is stigma. Or on mtuana gule age is stigma. I come to a stigma. So a stigma is gone. But to mundo beche, you tati stigma. Angenuguso.
Everyone
have. Yes. Abanye abantu bazokutshela nge-issue ye-criminal record. And mawungayibhekela into criminal record kahle for me it's more like an abstract concept. Into engabambeki kahle. Because mawuya eCipro, if ungena online say www.cipro.whatever, register company, Solis Pty Ltd. They don't ask you about your criminal background. Criminal record akuvimba ukuthi ungaba ne-business yakho. Uthengisa amagwinya, uthengisa any product. And when people enjoy your product or your service, they don't go and check with abana ma director aba owner le company, therefore we can't buy from this company. They enjoy your service, they enjoy your product. You can have this production company fana yakho. Uloku buye ejele. But abantu bathatha criminal record basifaka phakathi kwa and then ibafaka ejele. Yabona, it's another form of being in prison. So buye ejele usifaka ujele criminal record.
But President, do you think it's necessary for a process here, you remove this thing, a criminal record, the process that is placed? Do you think it's necessary for the government in that process?
Mina ngesingama, and this is me. I don't think go right with criminal record by sus. I think my and I'll tell you why. Because a criminal record my economy it serves as a deterrence or something that discourages abantu ukuthi abantu bayenze something wrong. Do you get what I'm saying? So imagine we commit a crime, we are waiting trial, back sentence, we are jail, we are phuma sus criminal record. So what is it? Iphi to make sure ukuthi sithusa abantu ukuthi abantu bangacommit crime. So people must know, even abantu ababhekela podcast, uma commit crime, you must be prepared to do the time. And after doing the time, there's a criminal record. There must be a consequence of a committed crime on time. A crime I correct in the first place. I've committed crimes myself. And I still say a crime I correct. So I don't even want to touch the issue with the criminal record merely suicide. But it's a criminal record expungement. Because even Namanja, this coming Saturday, I'm going to Hijacking, you could my teenagers. I need to use criminal record. When you say, good guys, if you commit crimes, you misbehave, you community way. Nine dogmail. And this thing, it simply means you can't access certain things in life because of this. So, Gabangun Jesus. What are you saying? Mawishu's criminal record. Because look at Gating Mekenzo Namchan, criminal record. Look at Kenikon Namchan, criminal record. Look at Scheme GP, Temba Luke Namchan, criminal record. I can count and count and count. So, I don't think Meli Suge, my salera. Naming now. Marungbun City passport dam. I've been to Dubai so many times, China, whatever. So, actually, Abayamat Bangat maybe as contradictor to say, criminal record may be called Mara. I can do certain things in the criminal record, but I'm saying with mask my shoes. Because now, for me, it was actually visa a China embassy. I had to fight. I had to write down my report. They had to prove what I'm into business. There's a lot of things that I had to produce the China embassy. Babon would okay, cool. You crime against Jani, whatever. Get a letter from correctional services or somewhere and try to justify the situation. I'm good. Why it deserve a second opportunity? So that's my criminal record. I mean, my thought. Oh, my blow more.
Shit.
Because, we cannot justify a crime. As much as Mbuza Elangiti, obviously, you told me go to Nigazamanti, Abafana, Nabanye, your pushing Bakulu, podcast, because we believe they've changed. But that shouldn't be an issue they've changed, born. It should be an issue of crime, awareness, and prevention. I've made peace in the issue of crime. In a sense, even if interview wins long, even if people they comment negative. And what? You know why? Can you imagine if when you're a victim of a crime, or you are an indirect victim of a crime? Indirect, I mean, papatuli tamalako, papatuli, and uluzumunto mtandaya, scene of crime. Now, get detail come melumunto beche. Ongaboni is even no remorse. Umuntu o still o exalta a crime as if it's something ongabrega ngayo. Umuntu o portray a crime as if is something in a spice, a grand, in sugar, ne? And then umuntu magaqeda ajiga a blame a community. Having a sense of entitlement. And umuntu committed crime. So, do you expect that victim, or an indirect direct victim, actually is Mbuzawe? It's not fair. So that's why I'm even if I want, but hey, let's give them up. I don't mind because I understand how they feel about the crime. Impact the crime is not nice out here. Olulam labula mean, young son. Lomuntu opodi olila nafanda hange necha martination. So I understand what it's like to lose somebody. Lose a woman as a result of somebody committing a crime. Do you get what I'm saying?
My God.
Yeah.
Actually, twisted everything that they begin like.
No, we have to. That's why I'm on the platform. I'm not here to brag and say, no. But I'm here to raise the awareness. And then, in me raising awareness, and also to give people hope, good guys. Don't give up. So historicism is all about I want to give up.
Because at some point we had a fight, no tra.
Yeah.
At that time we the story said Kushesh.
Yeah.
So I said to him, it's a nice story, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking about the victims. If you really did what you said you did, just think about the victims. Then people they said, no, you jealous, tries is a good storyteller. I'm like, I agree. I'm just thinking about the victim.
Yeah.
because it seems like when you did the crime yomtshontsha igari nanani ubekwa kule level ukuthi ayiwena unswembu in but we don't think about the victims, abantu abalahlekelwa zimoto bakhonjwa ngeibhamu baba kwi-trauma and everything. I was on the side of the victim, I was not fighting with
we have to be on the side of the victim, my guy, and I'll tell you why. If you look at the system on its own, somewhere the system is flawed in a sense yokuthi ngiyakhijacker manje commit crime, thathela ikari ngokushaya ngegani maybe. That trauma ukukhomba ngesibhamu noma ngakubulalanga, trauma ukukhomba ngesibhamu ngithatha ikari osayibhatala yena. And I want to show you something. Bangibopha abakhata. Mabangibopha nge-police station, definitely ngiyolala ngidlile. Ngathenda i-court, bangigwebe. Mangifika e-maximum, ngiyothola umbhede. Ngithola ama-sheet. Definitely ngiyolala ngidlile. But now and then also ngithola ama-opportunities ukuthi ngayeskela ngibe ne-matric ngicorrespond nabo-UNISA ngenzeni ngize ngithola i-visit i-life yami ibe sharp ngitshintsha impilo yami at the expense yomuntu o-traumatized. Now let me show you the system in that. Now the system mayeza ngapha ku-victim, they don't provide counseling sessions, programs to victims. They don't avail those programs or those platforms to also reform victims. With victim, I move from being victims to become survivors. There must be a transition. As much as there's a transition from being a criminal to somebody or say a reformed, who's about you have turned your life around. But what about the victim? And this person who innocent, but commit crime yokuyi. Lo muntu uzoye court, sometimes bangamtsheni ukuthi icase yangena no bakugweba, sometimes abekhona obviously ya testify bakugweba enzeni yena a struggle imshaya trauma to a point ukuthi sometimes as I give up life in mina ngifike ejele ngi grade 10 grade 11 grade 12 ngit ne UNISA ngit certificate nyana ngiphuma. Do you know what I'm saying? But what about the victim? That's why it's important to advocate also for our victim. I'm not saying that we should bash abantu abacommit crime, but I'm saying that we should also balance this equation. That's why I applaud Minama Foundation that caters for our victims. Kunabantu abarepha incosi mfethu. I'm telling you. Ngisebenza nama NPO mina mawuthi yabheka le butsogofatse wa rona, i-NPO dila ngencosi. Ezrejiwe, mntana ona 7 asoreja abantu abayi7, 8, 10. Yangithola. I-crime esibonayo ku Twitter yonke indawo. Labantu esibayejeka imoto esibadubulayo sibathatha imali yabo senza ini. They chose ukuthi bona regardless of whatever circumstance they want to try and work and bazama ukwenza an honest living. Wawona. And then so we can't have a situation where the system only caters for ama-enemy. Ukwejele uthi mina ngibejele ngihlele ejele. Bangisha nge-15. Mina ngihlele mina kushuthi ngazi lemhlaba e2. I know umhlaba so awaiting trial ngihlele 2 years and 8 months. I know there are people who abahlala more 5 years 6 years. Mina ngihlele 2 years and 8 months. Ngiyawazi umhlaba okuba sentence go orange. And I can see mongale ngaphakathi. Yes, it's not nice kunzima. But kune social worker, ngine access ye kuya doctor, ngine access ye psychiatrist, ngine access ye psychologist. In fact, ngine access ye education, which is key. But there's no one yoku victim fika awungitshela njengoba bakahijack ikari. Where were you alive? Were you trying to achieve something so that we can help you to advance that? They don't. Then mina ngiyabuya. Aqala manje sengama qualifications ndoda ngiyahasile ngenza ama company ngenza ngivana ama celebrity ngenzana ngivanga ekari ezentswembu. Le victim yayidlula nje. Yabona? Sengila manje ngiyapre. So it's very important ukuthi noma ubuye ejele you need to stay humble and always remember you once wronged the community. That's why it's very important to put a community call. And I like what TRA is doing currently because on a foundation, I've seen the foundation and it's doing well. Things and keepers are busy. That abantu ababuye ejele for them one or the other they must give back. They must. You can't show remorse ngomlomo. But that's what I'm saying. If you look at the Themba Lukele, on a scheme GP Foundation, that guy was a youth empire. That guy, when it comes to gender-based violence, is big. being a CEO yale foundation, I know he's big. That guy bar blind on the ground. Ingosi buyer plan on the ground. That guy makbodumunte katlo ingosi uya qala fike sinye. That guy walked from here to Durban. I'm just showing you what. So even if I am crimes before, my life I pila manje, life impact impilo zabantu in a positive way. You understand? We create them savings in different shapes and forms. So that should be the mentality. To say we can't screaming ama parolees njalo nama ex-offenders kube ngathi sawa exalt. That's how abanye abantu bayakwata kunama platform.
Yeah, that's what I did. Which I can't just talk to people who are from jail only. So let's talk to the victims now. Yeah. And shout out to Tra, man. It's not like I'm fighting or what. Got no beef, man. I was just against him at that time for what he did. But now we're good. I think we're clean. Yeah, let's move on. Let's move on. So, njengamanje iziphi izinto obusy ngazo. Before we get there, tell me, you from Moka to Puma eDanyana.
Yeah.
How difficult is it to change your life and get a job or be in business? How difficult it is?
For me, I always believe ukuthi awuqala ukutshintsha impilo yakhe masuphumile. In fact, by the way, according to me, and this is me, mabaqala bakuvalela ungena waiting trial. It's like first day mangena police station. Also attend the court bazokuremind bakuthumele Sun City or Remodabi. Yohlala waiting trial. That's why you need to change your life if you want to. That's where change starts. If you want to. So impila we change yazange change impila masengiphumile jail. Mangit kuphume jail. It was more like now implementation phase for me to say this is what I've acquired, this is what I've learned. Now how do I make sure these things work for me? Because remember, let me yazi ukhuluma ivarne. Knowledge onayo or talent onayo or gift onayo. Here's ukuphilisa my friend. Ayikho into zokuphilisa outside these things. Angifuna ukutshela ma. It's either knowledge onayo, skill onaso, talent onayo or gift onayo. Here's ukuphilisa. If you beg abo Elon Musk, ama skill abanawo, ama gift abanawo. So into zokuphilisa. So my point is mina ngifike ejele. Mina drop out ka grade 10. Mangifike ejele mina zange ngimoshe isikhathi. Ngayeskela. And then ukuyeskela ngaqala from grade 10. But I always emphasize the issue with mina ukuyeskela. I was not intentional ukuthi ngiyeskela because of ngifuna ukufunda. Bengibalekela environment yasejele yama gangsters and whatever.
So you didn't take a number?
No, I didn't take a number. So I knew ukuthi A section it's a school section. Nama condition akhona different. Nama activities akhona are different. Nomthetho akhona u different. That's why I'm at A section eloko maximum. Bathi ngingabusisi. Because I knew what the gekelezo. So ngara kune EBET level 1, 2, 3, 4. Mawuphasa u-EBET level 4 you go to grade 10, 11, 12. So fortunately for me, I didn't have to go through adult basic education with EBET. I went straight to grade 10. At grade 11, at grade 12. Then from grade 12, and then I corresponder. Then I have a 3 national diploma in human resource management. Then I have a degree, BA in philosophy of politics and economics, and some few certificates. But also nalama sabiza kutama rehabilitation programs, about life skill, anger management. It's compulsory because obviously ungumuntu ngeneje one anger. There's some element there anger. So many ways anger management. Then abantu ababashwele ama sexual offenses bayenza SOP, sexual offenders program. Pelejela abantu abaripile abazivezi angitejela basigama ticket small like ID yakho bayifihli ticket. So noma ba attend the program mabamemeza abathi hey sexual offenders program wozani you attend because amajita banescam se rape mongene ejele rape la time scam yabona phela mongene ejele mfit mina ungene crime nyana yabona yeah inikeza abantu I status ejele. That's why yo nasawethu intral kune status ukuthi hey lesha ma stay wena uboshule na car theft amaroyaza wena hijacking ibhathu wena hayi usikhokho yabona. That's why abantu mabafika wethin trial out here kubisela emva kancane it's difficult for bona to transform, to change. Because ungene ejele ungene wethu trial oboshola theft. And manje awethu trial phela bahlukanise. Liyani shaya heist, uyabona respect abantu bamgayona. You are likely to say, "Eish." And manje niyawethu trial nikhuluma ngama crime kuphela. Ngihleli nawe kanje uniyasho ukuthi yabona nje bangibosha kanje. Kunesinye isikole mfana. Kumele siyoshaya eMpumalanga urukuphi kuphi. Yabona nami ngithi mawuphuma sizo connect. And vele uphume ngebail nami ngiphume re case bayichitha re bail sihlangane futhi. That's why abantu mongabheke trial bangena baphuma. Yazi mawungena trial ne. Ngihlele trial uthi yami ne. Bazokutshela abantu bokubahlala etrial. Unokubona iface e1 kayi10. Vu. Bail case ichithiwe. Nini uhleli nani in bail because it crime within trial kuyabrekwa ngeimpahla mapa emakhota ama brand bra ngecrime dozenjalo so kuba ngcono mase abantu ba sentensiwe because manje ngara awusaye ecourt akuna into ukuthi unehope ngaphuma anytime bakushanga 15 years nga 20 uyazi ukuthi uyohlala 10 years yophuma ngeparole nakhona kudependa ukuthi uzobehave kanjani uzenza mapa programs.
What was going through your mind when you got your sentence? Like they said, 10 years. What was going through your mind at that time?
About 15 years. No, it was bad. Yeah, it was bad. Although I can't remember the actual feeling at that time, but it was bad. Mara. There's a difference between when ungene bakbophe manje. Utholi bail, uyekini ulokulala kini attend the court, and then I'm also court bakushange 15 years. Ngaba more traumatized than me. So I've been awaiting trial for 2 years, 8 months in jail. The only difference with mine was functioning 15 years. Sing move into section, move from trial section, and then young who sentence prisoners in Yagog. So I feel like mfana masang shy orange mara. Not like umuntu ngazangahlala waiting trial. Because obviously I'm used now to a system yasedanyana ngiyazi kuyaphaka ekseni kwenzakala I'm used to into ezibhaya yabo. That's why mina ngithe mangifika for me ngabekele session ngawugeleza and fethu ngageleza azange lo ngiyale ngageleza.
It is your sad story where you said you didn't have a computer so you were checking the products.
Yeah, I'm fethu because remember ne ngibhala matric ngiyayiphasa mangiphasa matric angisakumlo isibhala singaki. But I want to certificate, I think by 6 or 7. And then I want to NSFAS. I need to remember my searcher on my rights. Bongama inmate ban a right to education. And university a sharp for the correspondence you need, to be honest. And then NSFAS icon. And then say apply NSFAS masingama chita. Achasha my metric certificate wethu sikhetha ama degrees funa ukwayenza so at that time mawuqeda mele bakususe from communal cell hlala si35 kuya ngamajele abanye amajele bayi 60 eselini amanye sela bayi 35 40 kuyahluka so sibiza ukuthi communal cell so bakumove from communal cell to single cell so there's a section lapha yama single cell.
Yeah,
in fact ama single cell before babiza ukuthi namakulukuthi so like if wena ukwazi umuntu lo misbehave bakufaka lapha it's an isolation cell uhlala we1 but kunama single cell okubeni bayenzela for abantu abafunda because maso correspond na uyunisa namanye ama institutions wangaphandle mele ube ne single cell ube ne desk yakho so khona ukufunda so they are trying to create an environment ukuthi ukhona ukufunda. And we don't normally talk about that, what the correctional services does for abantu abafunda ejele. Environment eba conducive for you ukhona ukufunda. Uyangithola? So mangifika la, mangibheka receive study material sami because NSFAS mayibhatala iFundskyke. iFundskyke mina ngezikhotshije mangithumela study material. So NSFAS ayingayi nyoko straight. Ifaka ku bookshop bese ibhatala ama module wami. Mangibheka study material sami. Ngiyabona lapha nekufuneka ngibana ama DVD, ngibona DVD economics ne financial accounting. Ama DVD ama disc. It means that mele ngwafake samu ngwabukele and ama ejela kunama DVD phela and ngihlala ngiyi1 single cell. Now it means now I need makube unabazali unabantu abangakusupport uthi yami une visit ungafuna kuphela ngicela ngiletheni icomputer bazokulethela icomputer and then uzabukela ama DVD because it's part of your studies package. Mina I didn't have to like mina bengana muntu ne1 ukwaba ku situation life in namanje awutiyabheka awuna airtime ara awuna electricity awuna petrol mawuti scroll ku WhatsApp yakho ayekho nomuntu one ungamcabanga ungamthumela text with M50 azakuna gesi 50 rand or a clipper or angina petrol for that matter. I was in that situation where I'm like abantu abanje bangaphandle abahluleka nje ukungibhayela nje ama-joke nama-pijama ubanze ngibhayela computer dura kangaka. So mangihleli ngi-one in that single cell, so I'm facing i-toilet, kune-toilet la, then kunama-cleaning products, ama-brands nje. So there was a voice, you know, ukwaba namahlala uyi-one ngathi uyameditate. Yazi mangahlala uyi-one nendaweni ethulile, even if uku-situation ebhedayo kwisipaniso ngizwayibona, let's ufuna inyoko serious or into esihlangana uhlala uyi-one nje, uhlala beka ifoni le, mfana uzoyiza ivoice ezokutshela ukuthi mfana lungisa la yenza so, lungisa la yenza so. And that's what exactly happened there. That voice in mfethu, it was loud enough to say thatha lama products lawo yana. So yazi product umuntu mawuyiphendula kunalaba bhale consumer care line, customer care line. I think I think maybe it's more like a post evaluation strategy sabo to get the reaction yama consumers or somebody sells the product there. So ngiyabona, so that voice it ngithathe lama products mangwaphendula ngizobona lama number laphiyana, and then the very same voice it take him, you know, thatha lama number la wabhale phansi wonke. Tomorrow cela ukhata.
You don't even have a phone?
No, I don't have a cell phone. Ngisejele. Why would I get a cell phone? Mina I'm one of those guys mina bashizana nami abazoyibhela podcast bazokutshela. I'm one of those guys out here. I was never being fascinated ngama cell phone and stuff. And maybe it's because of bengana support from ngaphandle, because even if bengayithola cell phone, let's say corruption ngibena bengofuna labantu bengo WhatsApp abantu. WhatsApp futhi bengekho at that time. Bengofuna labantu mina at that time, because olilambe lingazingeni indaba zami, and at that time beselshonile mina masing university, there was no one bengamfonela, and mina ngiboshe nganamntwana ngana girlfriend bongusoli nje. So I was one person, I was not involved in those kind of and enye into more iselfoni ya organize phela bengizothetha imali organize into le into ngathi mfethu bengihlula mfethu mina bengishizela ngicathulo sejele bazokutshela abantu bengipantita nabo angazi ngaqoka isneaker mina ejele, because I never phela mawufuna isneaker mele kube umuntu okuthengela isneaker mfethu, mawufuna ngamapijama mele kube nomuntu ozayo wenze sibiza ukuthi first lag i-application yokucela amapijama umuntu akulethele and then wathola wafaka. Mina bengisebenza kwasejele, in fact bengidlukule kwasejele, ukwabona udlukudla kwasejele ne gcine sokumnandi, like you know ta mangadlela ecabbage nala soplan nepapa and grand, like you get used to this thing, because into na ngapha ngibhemi and ngapha nalabafana bobuyekasi noma ngathi ube visit wagayi ithininyana or something utshela nabanye mara lengathi bokuyihoba ngaphandle wayengatholi visit sebakuhleba amajita ayahleba, mina nginokuze bathe abafazi amajita ayahleba, amageng ayahleba wathi, and bakhuluma kabi. So I avoided all those things. So now ngithatha lama product lawa lama number sasa ngithatha ukhata si uMr Maseko usebenza head office as we speak now, and then singene computer sani ngiyamcela ngicela ungivulele ngifuna ukutype iletter, because ngifuna ukuzama ukuthi ngithola ama computer somewhere. Ancede la type iletter i-request. So kule letter of request ngirequesta nje donation ye computer yakudala, ngibhale Liver Brothers sonke lama company lama product abakhona kunane ibhodlela lecoke ngiyabhala bese ngi-attach i-copy ye-proof yami ye-admission yase-university ukuthi i-university inga-admitted nayi i-proof yokuthi nama-subject ama-module engiwaregisterile for first semester. It was economics, financial accounting, Western philosophy, business management, I think it was also politics and social activity, something, I think Y5. 2 weeks ngaba ne computer, ama company let ama computer ijela thatheli one computer, you can't have all these computers, ngaba ne computer one. So that's how I was able to own a computer. That on its own, even lesson game. Yeah, which life, whenever you're going through, people are going through a lot. We are going through a lot. You've got your own problems. Now, among so, I've got my own problems. But you always have hope and you believe, which you always think. I think we need to use our minds. We've got brains for a reason. So you need to apply and see what how can I, polish the product down, be grand, be patient, things that. So then young fundisa ukuthi proposal.
That's always around.
Yeah, proposal is key. That is why when noma ngithema ngiphuma ne ngifunda ipolicy angithi correctional services. Maphuma ejele, mawuzorelease. Bakuyisa community corrections babiza ukuthi comco. Community corrections is aggressive. So maphumela bomabinoni tsakane kwathema ise binoni etown eyabo. Maphumela Alexander Tembisa around Deepsloot iran back. Maphumela eSoweto kuphi yabona so kunama community corrections. So ngayenza research because bengifuna indlela ukuthi how can I work ne correctional services, especially community corrections, because you receive ama parole. So mangenza research ngathola ukuthi no, community corrections part of mandate yabo kumele bayenza ama community outreach kulamakasi la ba supervisor ama parole khona. Uyangithola? Then ngapropose ukuthi guys ngicela ukwenza ama event eThembisa. Ngibiza community ngilethe nama parolees nama ex offenders nama probationers. Nina niza nizo address community so the community inganiboni njengabantu abagqoka uniform ebrand abavala abantu, but they must know ukuthi ama NPOs angapartnera nani. Uyangithola? Because into abantu bangaunderstand ukuthi correctional services inama rehabilitation programs. Anger management uyethola phakathi ejele. Akusi program correctional services. By outsource somewhere. So more than a NPO, a non-profit organization, and a vision you correct the offending behavior. Remember, this is correctional services. Your objective here is to correct your offending behavior. And they don't have the capacity or the means to realize that.
Then they invite.
They are open for partnerships. So if you're on an NPO and say, mina ngifuna ukucorrecta ingqondo zabantu abasejele to think different, or mina ngifuna abantu basejele they must learn to forgive. Because umuntu makasethi uba ne-anger uthi yami bekane girlfriend ayisigebengu ayilanda ayenzisa inwele ngemoto yakhe top ayenzisa amazipho ayinikeza i-allowance every month uyaboshwa is a first 2 months 3 months mashanga 25 years I says move on enye out uba ne-anger lo muntu. Omunye ibaby mama yakhe seshadile uba ne-anger lo muntu. Omunye abazali abasaya bomvisit uba ne-anger lo muntu. Omunye abazali bayashona isister yakhe lethi indoda endlini yakibo uba ne-anger lo muntu. So ibosha sine uba ne-anger makule environment abakuvisit ufila ngathi ya ubani bengenza so uyazi life kunjani. Then when you decide ukuza ngeprogram ezo addressa i-mindset eyibosha, we package like NPO. You can partner correctional services. They will give you a memorandum of understanding. Then by assess, by one does it speak to their policy? Will it impact impilo zabantu na? Ambabeka ama outcome. Oh, bakunikeza. So I want that by understanding. So I said to correctional services, let's partner in this thing. And that's why I started doing my event, EGAS, in the correctional services. And the correctional services, they will also provide catering for our event. If you go to Google and say, so Limanka, maybe Kasi entrepreneurship or anything, they are very things in the correctional services. So that's how now I got a partnership. And now getting partnership now, it means I'm signing because I'm active. I want to think advantage.
Yeah.
That's why I mean now it will be unfair for me now. Correctional services because for me they gave me a platform to transform my life. Number two, they gave me a platform mangpuma to partner with me and impact impilo zabantu. Mangzo bengubonisa passport mangizocela ngitravel. I went to them, they said no, it's good. You can go. We trust you, do your thing. When travel I mean.
Sure.
And ngai Cape Town red Durban. Ngisuka la ngiye China. Suka la ngiye Dubai transit ngit 7 hours 30 minutes engene China. Benekanti phakathi kalakaca for a week long. So nama partnership namanje I still work with them. Whenever there are programs ngiyazenza nabo. Noma ngibejele bangirecommenda kuma TV channels amane we-e.tv ukuthi bacela mina ngenza ama interview because babakhathele into ukuthi always abantu abayenza ama interview bakhuluma ngama cellphone ejele corruption what yangithola as if I department ngokwayo there's nothing yenza positive change impilo zabantu. So mina was one of those. Namanje I'm still one of those.
So right now, what are you busy with?
Okay, right now, currently as we speak, I think Obonile, there were a lot of books more figure. Yeah. So currently, I'm doing LLB. One of the colleges I mentioned because I was battling to promote. Why I'm doing LLB? So I realized 3 or 4 years back, my program say I'm spare time if I my China travel. I'll do my program say ne youth kanjalo. Uthola ukuthi abantwana bamantombazana ba gravitate towards me bangitshela ama issues wabo stepfather siyangirape umama othulile. In fact I dealt with those cases I dealt with those cases eside and ngapha ngina capacity obviously advice no ye police station enza so ngifuna amaphoyisa ngwazi captain ethembisa captain relative akune case so man okathusa kitlathusa am soldier or things like that. And then ngaba ne vision ukuthi I need to here's my vision I want to start a organization ezoba nama legal practitioners who will go to court and make sure that they seek justice for my victim, especially for women and children, and make sure that after justice kuba ne reformation. After reformation, kuba ne reintegration. So if umntana oriji or sister oriji we washawa indoda yama abuse enza ini, when I go to court, I make sure you as a perpetrator, you must pay. You must suffer the repercussions. And then after, lo sister lo angimthathi ngimdampe. We need to make sure the organization she goes through ama phase where rehabilitation, where reformation, character-wise, emotional, abe restored. Then after, simncede ukuthi akhona ukuqhubeka ngento bekafuna ukuyenza elifini. But I can only do that and have an impact if you have background in law, because a law is a very powerful tool to influence izinto and to enforce izinto dinga umthetho. So I said, okay, cool, no, let me go and do LLB. Obviously, it will take me 6 years, which is fine. So Vision is Vision 2029/2030.
Sure.
And I'm planning that. And I'm studying. Now, I'll show you proof and everything. I'm doing that. Because I know by 2028, I don't want to practice. I'm fully licensed to practice. But I know with the influence and also the research international funders that funds anything that protects our rights, the rights of women and children. I want to tap into that kind of funding. But if I can, so I can't be managing or leading a team of legal practitioners in a background in law, in a background in economics. I can't. So let me capacitate myself, and then after, let me implement this thing. It's my thing. But also another thing, I don't want to launch in South Africa. The intention is to launch it in Kenya.
Why in Kenya?
Because in Kenya, one, I have made friends. The time and WhatsApp. And I said there's an influx of investment in Kenya. And I think this thing could be a good program. Because remember, one of the things when as a presenter, Chris ne-team osebenza nayo. That's why your program is YouTube. You know why? Because you guys, you are a global production company.
True.
You might be from South Africa, Mario, you are Africans, Mario, a global production company. That's why your content is YouTube. Anyone can access your content. So I think we need to have that mindset to say, kuna manye ideas, Chris. Ungai research about the idea like a span eBotswana. Then ngizalete South Africa. It's good and in fact eBotswana gula. I think we need to start to develop that mindset of sekelo ama pene plus. Young tall. And ukabanga ukuthi okay. If unomngani obuya eMalawi, obuya eMaputo, obuya kuphi. Don't bash that guy with hey foreigner. Hey. No. Engage with that guy. He's an African like you. Forget about the circumstances wala. As long as that guy commit crime ngazinto ezilonga out shop. Kulmana. Umbuzo uthi mfita ngitshela kunjani ngara. Akutshela injani TV production yenu ngara. Akutshela. Who knows?
Can open another.
You can pitch this idea ngara. Then you work. That's why today lento ngokutshela abantu aba understand that revelation. Bheka ama-brands osasebenzisayo wamafoni, bheka ama-brands esiwagcokayo, ama-brand okubeni masukutweet masiwafakile we feel like anikeza iskin sethu i-value. Ngoba kunabanye abantu le skin less masishaya iskipa se-10 rand ubona ngathi asina value. So kuze le skin less akusibe ne-value ushala ama-brand njani. So those people ama-brands ababe international because they understood the revelation ukuthi mawenze product or release ingoma, it shouldn't be product ezoba local. Always see yourself beyond the borders of Africa or ama borders wala ukhona. Yeah. Somebody once said ukuthi asaphila kuma demographics. I think uVostemba atasaphila kuma demographics. Siphila kuma psychographics. Meaning ingosi yasekhasi ingakhuluma njengo Jay-Z, ihambe njengo Jay-Z, imitate ngoba iconnecta no Jay-Z online. Online. So the reason why it's now YouTube is for us to connect so that we can see ourselves as global citizens. I'm just answering your question ukuthi ngeresearch yami nabantu nginabo engibaziyo nabantu engage nabo every day eKenya. IKenya ingaba a good platform for me to launch that law firm con. Imagine kune law firm ne magune any issue gender based violence whether rape or in. That's why among abheka ufelane kumonja love. There's a problem called ufelane. Amachitabula labafazi da blind. But monga you check, there's no justice for a victim. You out here ngene jail but tipping 1005, there's no evidence. Especially umuntu feel. Abanye bavula ne case kuze umuntu feel ovula case uthi. There's no strong case. That's why I come in to say Tina will say no. There is a strong case la. And abanye ba afford. I mean ngimamele letsotsi le akusini angithi I National Commission amaphoyisa obheka icela. There's this guy was at Durban ubani which bega trend man ukuthi uyaspana. I think uyobophena la machita ngathi baba ama suspect okubulala uAKA into ezinjalo. Yeah, here's that guy ne. He said something very profound ngale case ga AKA uthe it's amazing how these criminals they afford a lawyer expensive. Now that should tell you something. If I'm a perpetrator, they can afford legal expenses. What more about the victim? Chere segasi by rapile by bulal. The perpetrator afford the lawyer to pay same time. What about one? So that's where I come in again now. Ngalending we build. And I hope nabanyabantu bangawayenza sibenjalo because we can't talk about gender-based violence and femicide. Phela manje sekwi GBVF. Just talk about it nje kuphela. Hey sister ami victim olilama or ingosi or ubani. But we don't do something about it. I think you can imagine if it's an organization, it has to do with a lawyer specifically. Well trained, well paid, they advocate
For these victims.
yeah for my victims, and they make sure that my victim are to justice, and not only justice, there's a reformation as well, the transformation, the reintegration, because I'm a victim yadingwa to be reintegrated.
True.
Yabo ikufana nama ukubona wonke umuntu yazi reintegration enjani, ungayibheki ngalelo hlelo ukuthi umuntu ubuyejele simbuyisela ku community. Kunabanye abantu mele babuyisela to the right state of mind. That's why umongathana nomuntu ohlanyayo uzoba ne problem, because abanye abantu they suffer from childhood trauma. I mean, I had a lot of childhood traumas out here, and I realized sengemdala ukuthi kahle mina ngine trauma. So umuntu will say something, it triggers something. Ngizase intwana uyangithola ngabona ukuthi I need to do something about these things, because manje sengine self awareness, and I started reading books that speaks to ama issues anjalo uyangithola. There's a kunencwadi ebhalo Dr. Umas Google Dr. Gabo Mate. He speaks about illness, trauma, and in a toxic culture. Just Google Dr. Gabo Mate.
Or maybe half of the world is toxic.
Yeah, he speaks about the myth of normal. Yeah, just Google Dr. Gabo Mate, the myth of normal.
Yeah.
That guy speaks about small t traumas. Trauma abantu siba now, and then and then later
cool.
they start to bubble on the surface, and it's a problem with relationships. Whether romantic relationships, business relationships, by a problem. Because now, magumele singena ku business deal, you remember what they say, beke back twister, bakwenza in, then it affects. But mostly, if you can check abantu abasha abafazi ababhiza ukuphi kufelani mawufuna ukubona ukuthi lento ye-GBVF it's real. Yeah. Umuntu ugwaza umntwana abantu ngathi ugwaza imbuzi or something. Now that should tell you ukuthi lo muntu lo mfethu una childhood traumas. Yabo. And sometimes it's data abantu abagulayo.
Yeah.
And unfortunately we don't have the capacity to help them. Sometimes we see ukuthi lo mntwana une bipolar.
Yeah.
Or lo mntwana nje kahle kahle une anger. Or lo mntwana nje kahle kahle. Mina kunomunye sister ne. Bokumuntu wami. Okwangitshela isistory sebhlungu kabi. Wangitshela ukuthi, because I realized later ukuthi lo muntu lo kahle kahle akakhona ukuba ne partner A1. And uthanda abantu abadala. Too much. And ngambuza one day, like as a conversation. Wangitshela ivaru ukuthi doesn't. Mangikhula mina, stepfather sami. Bese ngibamba senze yonke imhlolana. Thopento ukuthi kusho lo mntwana bebayi3 kibo ne. Le stepfather bese mbamba ithamla labantwana abayi2. So uthema katshile uri lakhe la shaya stepfather ngebhoma la reactor la cosha stepfather. Abo sister bakhe sebamlisa ukuthi wena sina timer ngenxa yakho today. So lo mntwana wangitshela ukuthi the way le time learning is experience ngakhona ugcine seka manje yena sakahalela abantu abadala.
Yeah.
Uyangithola. Fortunately yena she's aware ngalento leyo, but obviously abantu abamnyama we don't believe in ezabo therapy and what and also abanye we don't read books.
Yeah, I think I need one now.
I think we don't read books. Uyangithola. In fact abutaka isikhule kanzima in fact. So yeah. and remember, even if we 2000 but abazali bakho, it's either they were affected by apartheid system one way or the other, or even if apartheid ingasekho mara ama effects okana sasekhona. So angeke ngi broken. You expect ingosi yami izoba grand. Abantu around mina ngeke babe grand because mina ivika lipheli ngingasusanga umrawurawo. Yabaza abantu abanjalo shithi ivika lipheli nje angasusanga nje.
Usezuyazazi and proud ngada.
Yeah. So those are the things that we need to address masingabantu. And monga yokuma therapy nana ngithi abantu abamnyama sibelieve kuma a prophet, they must pray for me, which is fine. Let them pray for you. But also you need to go extra mile. Read books, me bra. Go online and check incwadi to type childhood trauma. Kuna machito uthola ukuthi uni out kanje. Ankela kikakushange ngawuza. Or ikakubamba rough. Mara ukhuluma because lento le awurengi ngayo. Uyangithola.
Abantu mabekhuluma ngayo snap.
Yeah, uthule. Mara wena yak affect rere. So why ungayi address? Ma we pay because umuntu mele usibheke ukuthi mara ngine anger mfethu 2 minutes ngilona le ntombazane yabantu 3 minutes mina ngifuna ukutshela mele uzibone and sometimes mele ubhekene behavior ukuthi le behavior kahle ngifake inkingeni last time ngiluze equipment yami ngale behavior
Yes.
this time ngiluze ifone ngale behavior yabona or nini udrive udakiwe uchayise ngecar uyabona male behavior ngispanele so uyabona ukuthi utshwala buyakhula uma inyuku iyaqoka efonini yakho hayi mfana first thing is in your mind thenga ibhodlela or something and lento yakhosta you can address it, my bro.
Are you going to vote?
Yeah, definitely.
Why?
Because I feel I'm part of, there's a quote, be the change that you want. Ne?
Yeah.
And it goes further to say, don't just watch when people change the world. Be part of the change. So for those reasons, I want to vote. Definitely, I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote.
You're the first one
I'm going to vote.
to come to the show and say.
No, I'm going to vote. The good thing vote it doesn't matter. But also, as any into foot. I think I want to, because yes, I want to pressure the current government. But also, I think and I'm not saying they shouldn't bash current government. You can. But also, you must also check izinto. Like for me, I know that Mandela bafunda kudala ejele, but environment dokufunda ejele, it also allowed us ama computer. As me coming out, starting small businesses or whatever, nkhona sipho register company, nkhona ukuhamba, I mean, na important export license samla emva kwe laptop. I don't think isikhathi samabhunu bengayithola important export license galula kanje. But ngiyakhona so I can move a shipment from Italy ngilethe South Africa. I can move a shipment from China ngilethe Botswana. Oh, do you get what I'm saying? So there are those things okubeni, and also if you check into triple BEE as well, which is an initiative that speaks to black economic empowerment. Abantu abathola ama-tender, out of those tenders they're able to create jobs for amajita nabanye abantu. Yabona ama-contracts atholakalayo. So obviously must bash when we bash something singakhohlwa nezinto ezigrand personally for wena.
Are you happy with this government?
Mina partly kwezinye izinto I'm happy, kwezinye izinto I'm not happy, because obviously ayikho into e-perfect out here, and mina ngisilabantu abahamba nge-crowd ngichecka mina situation yami uyangithola ukuthi where I am and am I able to benefit out of the system. Is ama policy relaxed enough ukuthi angivumele ngicala ibhizinisi ngezinto engifuna ukuyenza kwenzakalani uyangithola. So as far abanye abantu banama reasons wabo, but mina ngithanda ukuva ne crowd. Do you know what I'm saying? But obviously I think la ngikhala khona i-level e-crime afana crime phela manje crime ngathi sports.
I'm thinking
crime ngathi sports.
I just need a uniform.
Crime ngathi sports man yabona. So mina isho ingala kakhulu crime, and I also believe ukuthi I think ama ex-offenders, because remember there's a difference between pelentike 3 kunama probationers. Ama probationers abantu abacommit ama petty crime mafika ecourt abamthumela ejele, bamthumela ku-organization lawa dealing anama psychologists nama psychiatrists ama professionals. So this person ufika enza course laphana imrehabilitate angaphandle, but convicted. You're convicted. You are guilty, but awuye ejele yalaphana because crime yakhe incane. Ngithola abanye bathatha uma 30 days ejele and then after mela attend ama program. So abiza ukuthi ama probation labantu lawo. Bese kuba nama parole. So mawenza 10 years userve half, enyafu iseva ngaphandle parole. Mawuyiqeda that half, you then become ex-offender.
Okay, can you repeat that again?
So wenza 20 years or 10 years userve half bakurelease ngeparole. Uqedela isigaba sakho esele ngaphandle. Maso state ungasakho correctional services anything, you then become an ex-offender. So I feel like sometimes ku system, I think amaphoyisa amaningi they can work and collaborate nama ex-offenders. Bangayenza ama ex-offenders impimpi, mara work with them in terms of combating crime. So if kunabantu bebashaya heist, let's say when busha is brack or planning housebreaking, So when you know ukuthi ubheka kanjani izindlu, so obviously une idea ukuthi how to improve the security system ukuze kule ndlu lena kungabi nama break in amaningi. So you can work nam department yamaphoyisa focus in that area, you work with them mara ubimpimbi uyangithola. If bosha ama heist wena before and you know ukuthi this is how ama heist organize ngakhona in you can work with the system to help ukwehlisa I crime. You can do that. So I think they need to incorporate ama ex-offenders kula amanye ama initiatives lawo. Imagine ufuna ukudiscourage gangsterism Cape Town nakula makasi la abantwana sebakhuluma nge26 28 ikasi isigela ikatlo ngethembisi kunabantwana already ba active kuma gangsterism, and you want to address that. You can't address that umuntu ongazanga abe kuma gang, but ungabiza abantu owazi ukuthi laba beba effective ku gangsterism and they understand inomboro, and then usebenzise bona benza ama ambassador to address that kule ngcosi lesizincane. I mean, I can't go then you address abantwana nge-gangsterism or address abantwana nge-substance abuse. I was never, so I don't have all the details. So I can't tell them the how part to pull up. That's why I'm saying is system they need to incorporate them to the system. I'm ex-offenders.
Fithu elakho lokugcina if ungakhuluma nomuntu osonda kuphuma manje Danya, yiphi advice ongamgaya?
Umuntu osanda kuphuma eDanyani, yeah, sometimes makhuluma izinto abantu banokuthi kulula ukukhuluma because you are not in my situation. But also mina ngiphume nganandawo yokuhlala ngakhohle ngihlala esontweni. I had to build everything from scratch, to be honest. And ngiphume 2012. And I think I started making at least money nyana. Ukaba namaqala ukuthi at least now ngazibhayile airtime. I think it was 2014, 2015. So it took me time. But it doesn't mean ukuthi lesikhathi bengihleli. I was just putting the work. Abantu baphume ejele number one, they must, I think ababhaya bafuna ukuya abanye most angithi abanye baphuma seba transformed sebazi iBhayibheli into ezinjalo. They expect to go to church and speak. Yabona asabuye umuntu akhona, and abanye abanamahloni to start selling maybe ama banana or ama orange, just to start selling abo mofaya kanjalo wabona. Then abanye abanama certificate, like if une certificate yazawuthi mina ngikunikeza le example ngicela uyibheke. Let's say ngibuye ejele uze kusubuye ejele uphethe certificate se marketing, akusi diploma lento akusi degree, ngikhuluma nge-certificate. In fact asisusi certificate. Let's say uze bekafunda incwadi ejele ekhuluma nge-marketing. Na uze uza kuwo wena uthi Chris, yazi mina Chris network mina ngayimarketa ukuthi ama subscriber wenu amove from 30,000 to 60 nge 3 months. Wena ngeke ukuthi kuze never, because that's what you want. Look now zekuzokala onke strategy sakho atheke mina ngizosasho ngenze so, but wena in a week I'll make sure ukuthi ama subscriber akhula nge 2,000 3,000 whatever. So wena asikhuluma uzongipha wona uzothi no yazini ethi ngiba nama results, mangiba nama results ngizokha mara mina in the meantime ngakugaya 2 clip every month ye data. Already uzex seka active sekunento ayenzayo, so it's up to uzex to build from into ayenzayo incane then akhule. Do you get what I'm saying? Wena machitekazi uthola ukuthi out ithengisa amanzi, abanye bathengisa impahla, amakepisi emaningi ama brands ama outtakers. Uyalanda utekayo mina ngemarketing ngiyababa uthama lama kepa kungawaphusha mina wena ngikayidini yawuthi ifuna ama sales na izothi awuthama icape yami one ngibhayisa 90 rand, wena ungafaka imakape 10 rand uyibhayisa clipper ama 10 rand wakho already so ku business nalomuntu. Bese manje uthi ngicela ukushaya iposter ke bese udesign iposter ubhale 6 salesperson ufaka ama cap poster ku WhatsApp, so ne content positive, and by the way so active, so uyaqala manje uyaphusha lama cap uyangithola makunama event ekasi uyangena bafithi ngicela istand ngizodisplay ama cap wethu nathi nifuna malini 250 wapata
wabona so active, so uqalile ukuba active, because what is important in life ukuba active awuthama. Ayekho umuntu ozalile ukuthi ahlale awuthama. Akekho umuntu ozala ukuthi mela ablome the whole day ahlala ablome. Ukuba active, once waba active nyana, yabona active kanjani, yabona ubuze active kanjani, yabona benzani, ukuba active into funa, then you can build from there, because uma uba active ingqondo iyavuleka. And i message for abantu abejele, thola something be active. Do you know ukuthi uma ubejele ungabuza because ukuthi bafethu mina ngibuye danyana but fering ngifuna ukuya ku NPO A1. Maningi ama non-profit organization ekasi adila ngecrime, adila ngeGBV, kunama NPO amaningi ekasi. Uyangena la fika ucela ukubona i-own ibone injana Scott. Okay, mina igama lami uSoli ngibejele, however I can talk, I can whatever. Ngawina ama program yenu ngicela ukunceda nami. This thing ngifuna ibe part of i-reintegration yami, nami ngifuna ukuchange. Angisafuna ukwenza i-crime. In fact, there's no way and awufuna imali ukuthi angizovolunteer. Mara you know ukuthi ma uvolunteer la definitely ngelunch bazokugayisa inkwa nejuice. Leyo is showcase. But obviously uma lokho volunteer kuba ne-impact, uyathumeka wenzani, uyapusha wenzani. Next year mabaye, because every year they need to reapply for i-funding yabo. Bazoku-incorporate ukuthi now uthole stipend because they've seen impact yakho. Uyangithola? U-active. Manje amota baba edanyana azashawa yini? Afuna ukubela kulabantu bakudala, number 1. Number 2, babukela ama-movie abhaya basedanyana. Ikar in ama-Golf 7, Golf watwat, ama-Gucci, watwat. Manje sebana amafoni, babone yonke into ku-Instagram, impilo etop. Bayabona online. Babaphuma banelengqondo ukuthi abantu bangaphandle ba-ignorant. Mina ngizofika ngezinto zenzeke. Everything is a process out here.
True.
Everything we are a builder. And there's no need to rush. Mina ngazi abantu bathanda ukujaha because that listing a peer pressure yama age ukuthi no ngoba ngina 40 manje kumele ngabe nginedlalo kusho ubani abantu asifana out here. Abantu ungaba nedlalo na 25 years ushona una 30. Wona ube nedlalo na 40 ushona una 70. So never ever compare nabanye abantu. Wena bheka iscript sakho. Life is a script out here. I-program yakho injalo. If uzoba nedlalo na 50, yoba nedlalo na 50. Wena just iba active. Yabona fana ko active. Fana mina bengazi fana ngizohlala no Chris. Sengiyagena no Chris. You don't know ukuthi kusasa ngapropose ani. Awazi nama ngazi kusasa ngapropose ani game. But because of active slangeni. Because of uzex active slangeni. Nami ngihlangana no Zex. And you don't know what will come out of relationship no Zex or now. Yabo? Ngavela something edinga production ngibize ngibafethi nayi la kuyasebenza. You don't know. Uskim GP beyangazi ukuthi vandag angaba ku show etop emojala out of bonke abantu abakhona. But active babona ispan sakhe. Yabona kuba active kuyanceda uthama. Akuba active kuyanceda uthama. Ukuba active kuyanceda uthama. Blind. Just be active mfethu. Noma ngabe into encane mfethu. Do you know ukuthi kulama complex wonke ne? Nalama estate wabona la around. Kunama guarding service providers. Uyazi. Kunama cleaning service companies. Kunabantu abanama company, usestra vula company, wafuna abasestra bakwazi ukuclean. Wayenze agent lento. Wayifaka ama complexini. Umuntu makafuna into zoclean ufuna le number, le sister ya provider. Wabona? Usister ya provider. Okay. Sibongile, ngicela uye lapha ku estate so endaweni so uyoclean lapha yana ne. Ngizokubhatala i456. Yana sekathathile eyakhe irere. Uyabona? Wena untswemi ngegarden, boyishaya edanyana. Phela edanyana uma ubona clean amajita, boyishaya egarden edanyana. So ungabu register company maybe. I-company 175 or 200 rand. Do you think ukuthi wena mangangicela ukuthi efethi ngicela ungayitri tip ngiregister company ngizohala mina? Awunyogaya kuseni. Register company. I can even find someone who register the company. Akwele SARS uthole tax clearance certificate, ube ne guardian service company. Moket wenza ama pamphlet. Moket uqale kasi. Uyangena mfethu. Ngicela ungishayele igari. Hayi asinama no anginanaba, ngicela ungishayela for free. Mahala yeah ngizongiphi 50 rand. uyangithola. So you at least you know ukuthi mangibuza mfethu uchuna angine service company. Okay, so now the question about ukuthi uyifaka kanjani kuma complex. Can you speak to the guy on a contract kule complex or kule estate subcontractor na? Yabona you're hustling. We don't know, mfethu. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mina ngibelieve kanjalo tia. I just believe ukuthi izinto zithatha isikhathi. Things takes time and the age means nothing. It means nothing.
I'll come back for part 2. I want us to talk about the justice. Yeah, as a South African as a whole.
As a
How
whole.
do you see that? How do you see it? Do you think we have a best justice?
Yeah, I need to do a research lab. Obvious, mangizogama opinion wami, ngizogaya maslanga.
Yeah.
Sizabona.
Yeah, because a lot of people that are from jail, they are complaining. They say we have a worst system.
Mara babuza ukuthi why ngoba abagwebe bafila ngathi i-conviction yabo it was not fair, maybe.
They're like, you did the crime, you did the time, and you're outside, and there's nothing happening. Now you have to face this criminal record. You can't get a job, and sometimes you can be arrested.
But asikhulumi farot ya. Ne, ngicela sibe realistic mina na. Konje thina unemployment rate in South Africa currently as we speak, I think it's sitting on how many percent?
So, one can.
It's very high, sharp.
Because that's
Yeah. Ne? We're talking about people who can't access jobs, people who have never committed crimes, people who had the opportunity to commit crimes and they said, no, mina ngeke ngiyenze a crime. I still have faith ukuthi into zingachange. People who slept hungry, bayibona wallet na ilahlile. People who slept hungry, bayibona na ifoni ilahlile angayitshontsha ifoni yakhe ayiyeke. Because ufuna ku maintain ama principles nama morals wakhe. People who went to school banama qualifications by innocent. Ngokutshela ngabantu bangathola isipana. Angikutshela ngabantu abadeserve ukuthola isipana bangasithola. Now when uyabuya usolo ubuye ejele on a criminal record. Ufuna overtake alabantu. These are the people who enjoyed a life in, they've never committed any crime. Babuya kuma background anzima. They went to school under very, very difficult circumstances. Abanye bangana even electricity. Forget about load shedding. Arabafunda in those kind of circumstances. Baya pass by my university, balala phansi my university. Bangana nokudla my university. Balola ma fees must fall. Baya qualify after ungela struggle. They can't access jobs. When uyabuya wena for commit crime, ufuna ukuba a priority. It can't be. Before singakhuluma ngawo, let's look at labantu aba innocent la. I mean, it's a 4-point out here. So I'm saying for me it's unfair ubeje ne criminal record uzoshanga emotional blackmail ukuthi hey angithola ispan. Unemployment rate is very high. What if wena kahle kahle you are the one who must create jobs for these people? We've seen it abantu bangangeskela basurround abantu abayeskela. People will say uCasper Nyembesa zanga eskela mara fanda khone new grant influential but i-team yakhe abantu abayeskela. Do you get what I'm saying? So it's not fair mfethu ukushaya abantu ngama emotional blackmail ukuthi mina ngweje my mawubejela abantu bayenzeni because uno commit crime. Phela no commit crime. Let's not come here and talk as if for example when you commit crime uthatha isibhamu akhomba umuntu and we don't know abanye abantu bahlukumezile before sazi le case oyeboshela. Lo sisi lwazanga commit crime. Ufuna isipana akasithuli. Wena ubuyejela ucommit crime. Why mele prioritize wena? Mara uyayithola point yami isho ukuthini?
100%.
Uyayithola. We've got youth ebha kumele swara ngayo ukuthi mele ethola isipani mfitela abantu azama community crime. Uze kusaka akazi nomnyango we police station ubheke kuphi. Uyibona makadlula ngetaxi. Uyangithola. Ufuna isipani akasithola. Wona ubuyejela ufuna ukutshela ukuthi ngibuyejela justice system senzeni. So in other words you are saying wena ucommit crime sakuyisejele because you had to pay for your sins. You ought to pay. Because uhlukumeza abantu. Labantu abahlukumeza you don't even know ukuthi baphila kanjani kwenzakalani ngabo obadamage kanjani. So niwabuya wena uyejele uyalala piano uyadla wenzani siyakurelease futhi yakurelease system nge half sentence akusimaster phela mawushaya 20 mele ushaya 20 mara tshela no yazi asithi half uphume ngeparole ufike ngaphandle so uya complain hey span what about abantu bathola bangakhomitanga icrime? Is it fair ukuya ngawo? ngifuna wabasibhesha bangibheshe nawe. Is it fair when ukuya ngawo? It's not fair. Yeah, abazosibhesha sithu. It's not fair.
Plus, thank you so much, man.
Sure,
We'll
man.
come back and get deep into it. This is the best show. Shout out to Kanda and Zakhele. Thank you so much, guys.
Maro kantu zakhele kuphela. Akusugano zakhele kuphela bala.
Yeah, ngithi ngibreaka. Ngiza nawo ngireverse akusazovalekisa.
No, sengiyasho ukuthi kunomunye umuntu lokho exclude.
Hey.
Fit mamela eSouth Africa ne ipresident yazenzani manje. Ngokutshela we are in a phase where we are trying to incorporate abantu besimami in all positions. Right, and also we want to make sure ukuthi abantu besimami bangasazi relegate bona to the kitchen ngamalondo nani. They can be leaders, they can be coaches, they can be psychologists, they can be all sorts of things. So we need to acknowledge her because she's here. And she's here because she's part of production. Bekathathi ithomba yenzana setup yenza I. So kumele mo acknowledge. Ngokuzile masiqala azoyamjump. I'm like let's uzle.
Afuna uzoshika aza kahle la kumanje.
Azoshika malaki. Yeah, mfethu nokuthi wenzani. In fact, yazi wenzani. Ithungokutshela ukuthi wenzani ne. Ne, just khuthaza abantu. She's young. But currently une vision growth plan. Ngiyamnceda manje to put together a structure se foundation yakhe. Ngizengamthumela ama application to see ngicela ufuna ama application lawo. So that masiqede kuhlanganisa lento yakho uyothola imali lapha nalapha. Yangithola sifuna abantu abazo. And she's young. She's not saying ukuthi ayazini ngiyoshaya amazipho laphana mfethu. No. Or ngiyofuna abantu abanenyukwe. She has a vision. And as a vision ninja no thamne mawune vision njengayi because the program yakhe izofocus kwabantu abaphila ngedisability. If angayenzi labantu lana bazo struggle because she's the one who must liberate them from that struggle. Aba redeem. Kunkulu ufuna ukusebenzisa yana to redeem them. That's why she's responding to the call, and that's why I appreciate her.
Ghost lady. No, you don't come and say your thing.
The thing means the mic abudis bangamoni. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
Hi, hello guys. My name is Ingrid, the ghost lady.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
No, that's nice. But imagine, person, if you can have this kind of women, like that, they don't afraid to come with us. We come a podcast and see how we hustle, how we get this money.
Yeah, but not we shouldn't abuse them, and we shouldn't take advantage of them. It's important. Just lapha ku scheme GP ne. Besispend ingozi. Abantwana abancane. And what I like ngo scheme ukuthi umuntu ama morals, and we said we need to respect these young kids. Singaba abuse. Singathatha advantage ngabo. In a sense ukuthi makumele umbhadali if finds something mkhafe.
True.
Yabona? And if ubona ngathi uyakushaya knowledge kunento ayezokudlula wena, amgaya space. Because i-contribution yakhe izokhuphula i-product yakhe izoba attractive. Yeah, singa manje thina sinalento le ubheke nabantu ababha abashadile ne. Banongibiza ngama event abafazi. Ngihlala ngwa-attend blind. Uthola ukuthi abafazi bangizibuza ukuthi wala most abafazi abathanda ukuthi after my divorce I started to understand my passion and I found my purpose. I'm like, why is the problem ukuthi umuntu athole purpose yakhe aphakade ku relationship? It's because of we don't give them the platform to express ama talents wabo. Mothanda umntwana abantu ufuna umntwana abantu abayizombi. And unejealous ukuthi probably Capitec ngamvulela iminyaka. In fact, let me tell you something. If lo muntu lo uthandana naye maybe une gift and a progress ukudlula wena, there's nothing wrong ngalento leyo.
True.
I-life yakhe, i-program yakhe, i-script asiphilayo. Yabo you can't compete nomuthandana naye. And ungasabi ukuthi uzoba grand angishiye. Abantu bakushiya bengekho grand. So in any case abantu abanye bayahlala abanye bayahamba, just make peace but support umuntu wakho if afuna support. Musupport umgama platform. Kune sister yangifuna ngitshela ukuthi so liyazi i-cleaning service company ngite wena indoda yakho esebenza le. Ungakhuluma athi we don't talk about those things. I'm like that's a problem. You can't focus on the dimension yama romance, sex nama flower. Uthanda umuntu. You also need to explore other areas. The spa in because there is and abanye abantu abazi ukuthi ningahlangana ningananyuku ne but the combination here create ama meter. I can give an example amatababai yabo ngiyakutshela ni share ama ideas ni me grand so there should that element of friendship, element of sister and brother, then element of mjolo there and there yangithola ni push it life. That's why you are coming together ni by partner. So I'm just saying ukuthi noma sibani corporate labo sister la singaba abuse ngam abuse because nxa nofuna assistance yini yabo nini sengiyama WhatsApp ngithi ozwa ngibona mthangala what yangithola. That's wrong. Mele ngimncede if ngiyamnceda, if ngamncedi ngamnceda, if ngiyamnceda it shouldn't be because of sengifuna ukulala naye. No, I just see I see my younger sister in her ngiyamnceda. I know ukuthi kumnceda kwami na uzocreate imisebenzi phambili.
Thank you so much.
Sure.